What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a very special look at the 2019 Volkswagen Arteon. Now, unfortunately, we had an SEL Premium. It sold like that. So the model we're going to be looking at today is the SE. So unfortunately, it's not really a good representation of what the Arteon is, but nonetheless, I wanted to give you guys kind of a first look at it. So we're going to walk around the whole vehicle, talk about all the features, kind of talk about where it sits in the Volkswagen lineup as it stands. And yeah, we'll just take a look at everything. Let's get started. All right, guys, so starting up front, what you'll notice is you've got some design cues that we're really not used to seeing on Volkswagens, at least not the current model years, but it does have some familiar stylings from the old CC and then mostly from the new up-and-coming 2020 Passat. So you'll notice that on the outside. Unfortunately, it doesn't take a lot of those influences on the inside, but we'll stick to the exterior now. So you've got kind of this all-encompassing grille here that connects to the headlights on both sides, and then you've got one body-colored piece that separates the bottom lip of the front fascia there. Really kind of, it's a nice look. It's a more elegant, kind of elevated kind of look, and I'm a big fan of it. I do like the nice leading lines there on the hood too, that kind of slope down into the front fascia. So nothing too crazy, but definitely kind of a nice facelift there in the front. Now you do have automatic LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and LED fog lights. Under the hood, you've got a 2.0 liter 16 valve DOHC turbocharged engine that's got 268 horsepower and will give you 31 miles per gallon highway and about 22 miles per gallon city. It sits on 18-inch alloy wheels with some nice rims there. You've got heated side mirrors with integrated turn signals, and if I can get it to turn, it's not wanting to turn on me, there we go. You've got blind spot monitors there on the side as well. No sunroof on this one, but you can get a panoramic sunroof on some of the higher trim levels. You've got rain sensing windshield wipers here. Keyless access there, so you just put your hand in there, it'll unlock, and you can tap that to lock it. Now, as we move around to the back, you'll notice you've got a pretty distinct looking back end, but it does still have those Volkswagen stylings. You've got dual exhaust tips there at the bottom. Like I said before, you've got LED tail lights, and you've got your big Arteon badge there that looks really classy. They do, on this trunk, have the little Volkswagen logo that you can actually use to open the trunk. So flip that way for the trunk, and then it'll go the other way for the rear view camera, which I'm always a big fan of. Sometimes they get rid of it on certain models. I'm not sure why. It might be a price thing, or maybe it's more complicated to produce, but nonetheless, it is here on the Arteon, and I like it. Another big deal here is the trunk. Now, I don't have the exact dimensions on this trunk, but let me just tell you, it's huge. And I put this large box of China here to demonstrate. That's a pretty big box. And I'll, again, put the measurements up on the screen so you can see exactly how big it is, but you can fit some serious stuff in there. They're not messing around with the trunk space here. And it's got that kind of like coupe, kind of sloped back window to it that makes it feel like a two-door, but it's actually a four-door. So the fact that it's a four-door and you've got all that trunk space is really nice. And that's pretty much all there is on the exterior, other than just some design stuff. Like here you can see again those leading lines that I was talking about. It's really sculpted. It's really actually extremely sporty, which I guess is kind of the idea behind it. But you've got some real coupe-like elements to it, even though again you have that four-door design. So you can see some right there. And again, here's that big back windshield that kind of slopes down, making it almost like a fastback looking. And I'm sure when you get the R-Line, you'll have the nice R-Line badging there. And again, this is the SE. So when we get an SEL Premium in, I can really show you all the different top of the line stuff that it has. But just wanted to give you all that first look. And there is everything on the outside. Let's go ahead and hop inside. All right, guys, now that we're inside the cabin, I'm gonna kind of walk through some of the features that we've got going on in here. Again, I know I keep repeating this, but I just wanna make it completely clear. This is the SE. Now, I'm a little disappointed in Volkswagen, I'll be completely honest with you, because at the price point, and this one's, I think, $37,645, you're pretty limited on what you get with kind of more of a premium feel. I thought that with this new push and the new Arteon line that they would kind of do what they did with the Jetta, with the GLI, with the upcoming Passat, and just say, you know what, we're going to push all our tech into as many trim levels as we can. So we're gonna try and get as much tech as we can, all the way down to the SE, all the way down to the S, you know, make some standard features to kind of make it feel more premium. And I gotta be honest with you, if someone blindfolded you and you sat down in this cabin, I have a really hard time thinking that you wouldn't think it's either a base model Jetta or a base model, like a mid-tier Passat. And that's disappointing at that $37,645. And I'll kind of point out why I say that as I go, so it doesn't just sound like I'm complaining for the sake of doing it. But hopefully, with the new Passat going forward, you know, in the future model years of the Arteon and all of Volkswagen's lineup, they'll start to kind of adapt and change and put all their tech in as many trim levels as you can, and then just do material upgrades as you go up the trim levels. But I know how companies work and how money in business works. But anyway, I'll stop blabbing on and we'll just go ahead and take a look here. So this is kind of why I say that right off the bat here. And this is obviously the steering wheel. Yeah, that's the steering wheel. So nothing premium, nothing elevated, nothing that really matches the outside of the car. And that's part of the disappointment. And you know, if you just peek up right past that and you've got your gauges there, again, you've got Jettas that are significantly cheaper than this car that have that all digital dash there that Volkswagen has going with the you know, full screen navigation and customizable gauges and display and vehicle information. And look at that. That's it. And yeah, if you go up you know, a trim or two, you can get the digital dash, but at $37,645, that should be there. Like, by default, I think even the cheapest one, it should be there. I think going forward on a premium type of car like this at this price range, you've got to have premium features like that standard, and I'm just disappointed in that. Same with you know, with the sound system here. You don't even have like a premium sound system. Now you do have the nice kind of bigger entertainment center screen here, which I do like that they included that. You've got, you know, radio, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, which I plug my phone in so you could see. And this is actually the updated CarPlay system in iOS 13. So I'm running that beta right now, so I do have access to it. So this is kind of what CarPlay will look like going forward in the fall. And I actually have a whole video on that. I'll link it up here in the top corner so you can check that out. But it's a really clean new interface they have. So, you know, multi-function, stuff like that. But, you know, that's another video. You still got like the SD card slot, the Bluetooth. You've got vehicle information here where you can do your different driver profiles and all that kind of stuff that's really just standard on everything. So I'm not even chalking it up to being premium other than just the bigger screen size, which is nice to have. You've got your Climatronic dual zone climate control, and you do have rear vents as well, which that's kind of one of the more premium features that they do include even on the SE trim. So I love that, and I love having the visual representation of it where you can change everything and it will adjust on the screen depending on kind of which part of the cabin you're trying to direct air to. So love that, always have. But other than that, like, you don't have interior ambient lighting like you've got on the Jetta. I mean, come on, where's the money going? I mean, you've got a lot more horsepower. I guess that might be part of it, but just the technology is so lacking for a car that's supposed to be, you know, trying to bridge the gap between Volkswagen and Audi. You know, even up here, you've got, you know, a little analog clock, which I guess looks classy. I guess. I don't know if people like analog clocks. I don't know. Again, you've got your hardware buttons there for your climate control and your seat heaters. And then you've got push to start engine, pretty standard. You've got your automatic engine on and off button here. You got an electronic parking brake here. Just all pretty standard. You've got SD card slots in there, and you've got a glove box lock button here. Now, as far as seating surfaces go, the exterior color of the car is a pure white, and the interior, you've got Titan black leatherette seating surfaces. So again, these are heated seating surfaces, not ventilated, unfortunately. And if you bump up to the SEL Premium R line, you will get the massage seats. So I was really hoping to show that off for you guys, but unfortunately this does not have it. But you know, in a future video, hopefully I will be able to test those out for you and explain to you how comfortable the massage is. Now in the back, like I mentioned, you do have vents there in the back, and then as well some charging ports back there. So, you know, it's pretty spacey. I will definitely give it that. This is a big sedan, so you definitely have plenty of room in the back, plus that huge trunk makes this a really good kind of family sedan, but at the same time, it's not really priced at a family sedan type of price range. So I don't know. I'm not sure it knows what it wants to be, but you know what? I'm not a car manufacturer for a reason. Another thing I wanted to mention real quick is how Volkswagen is marketing this vehicle, and they're marketing it as the sporty sedan. Now, I don't know if I just have a different definition of sporty, but definitely on the outside of the car, you've got sporty elements. You've got those leading lines like I talked about. You've got that really kind of unique grille and that kind of sloped back end that reminds you a lot of a coupe, but it doesn't mirror that on the inside. I mean, it definitely mirrors kind of luxury. I mean, you've got like kind of these unbroken lines here from vent to vent all across the kind of front dash here. You've got some nice polished, they almost look a little bit like titanium. I mean, they've got kind of like a brown tint to them. You've got elements like that that kind of go across the whole cabin, but nothing really stands out in here to me as like sporty. Like when I think of sporty, I think of like the GLI, like the 35th anniversary edition that has all the red accents, you know, accent stitching and things like that. And I know this is not really, to me, that concept. This is more like a luxury, more of like an elegance to it. And that's fine. It can be one or the other, but don't market it as a sporty sedan when there's nothing really sporty about it. Market it as a luxury sedan. And they literally have the word sporty next to the description on their website. And maybe it's just me, maybe I don't have an R line, and that's the difference there. But to me, this is luxury, or should be marketed as luxury. I'm not saying this is necessarily as luxurious as I think it could be, but it should be marketed as luxury, not sporty. So let's keep going. So people kind of always ask me in the comments, like, what's it like to drive the car? And I tend to shy away from those types of conversations only because it's so subjective. And so I can tell you, it's really smooth and it's really quick and it's very responsive, and that can be true to me, but I might drive you know, an old pickup truck normally. And so, you know, my interpretation of what smooth is could be completely different than what your interpretation of smooth is, or your interpretation of responsive is. So I tend to usually shy away from that, but you know, I did want to kind of talk about it in this video because I think a lot of what you're paying for I'm popular all of a sudden. Part of what you're paying for in this kind of car, the sporty sedan, is your horsepower and your engine. So you do have that turbocharged engine in here, 268 horsepower, and I will just go ahead and say it is fast, very fast. So I'm not sure exactly what the 0 to 60 is, but when you step on it, it goes. It's fast. So you can definitely feel it. It's not like pin you to your seat fast, but it definitely has a little bit more giddy up than some of the more like sporty, like the GLI and things like that are marketed more as those kind of sportier type of sedans. Now, as far as like driving goes, like smooth or responsive, or does it drive like a boat? Does it drive like a coupe? What's it drive like? It's a little, to me, again, completely subjective, it's a little boat-like to me. I mean, it's big, so it does feel a little bit boat-like to me. So I guess it's kind of understandable, but it's just fast, like straight line fast. It doesn't feel like super tight and responsive. And I hope that makes sense, and I hope that I can communicate that clearly. But you know, I don't know. I'm a little bit torn on this one, because I understand and I think there's a huge place for it. And I love the space. I'll just say that. I really like the space. It feels like a huge cabin. The back seats feel really nice. The trunk is nice. So you got a lot of space, but I think the sacrifice there is that it's gonna drive bigger than some other smaller sedans, and that's just the trade-off. So yeah, that's pretty much how it is to me driving it. A little bit boat-like, super fast off, like in a straight line. As far as turning goes, I do kind of feel like I'm taking wider turns, but maybe that's just me like thinking that it's bigger, and then, you know, my mind thinking I need to take this turn a little wider. So maybe more responsive to you, maybe less responsive to someone else. I'm just putting in my 2 cents so that it's in the video. And honestly, that's just about everything. I think you have an auto dimming rear view mirror as well, but other than that, I mean, I know it always feels like I get on here and complain about Volkswagen and their hesitation to just pack their cars full of technology. And I'm not saying that every car has to be as feature rich as, say, the Tiguan. You know, things can be designed a specific way, like the Beetle, for an aesthetic purpose. And I understand that there's different levels of vehicles. My problem always comes down to, I should say, you know, what you get versus what you pay for. And at this point in the price range, you're paying for something that should have all the features that a car, you know, $13,000 to $15,000 less just has by default. And it's silly. You know, they should give you a premium car. It doesn't cost them that much to do a digital dash, to do a Bose audio system, or a Fender audio system, or whoever they use now. And it just doesn't cost that much. It doesn't cost them that much. And if they can put it in a car that's significantly cheaper, put it in the car that's significantly more expensive. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm not on here just to complain about the Arteon and complain about Volkswagen or anything like that. I just want to have options as a consumer that I can say, I want all the tech of that Jetta, but I need more space. So put me in the Arteon. That should be the differentiating factor, is space. Pay more for more space. Pay more for a faster engine, or a, you know, more horsepower. Don't make me pay more for space and horsepower, but not give me all the features that I could get if I paid less. It just doesn't make sense. But nonetheless, this is the 2019 Volkswagen Arteon SE. Hopefully soon we will get an SEL Premium, and I'll give you a full walk around of that. If you guys have any questions about the Arteon, drop a comment down below. Drop a like if you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe to be among the first to see all the videos on the Arteon SEL Premium, R-Line, any new Tiguan videos that I make. I know people love the Tiguan videos, so just drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.